Hi everybody and welcome on board. This presentation is going to be about Easyjet. You may know this company already or you may have flown with them already. Easyjet is a UK-based low-cost carrier and has been quite successful in the past. However, the company wants to, stay ahead of the game, and therefore they asked us to provide a strategy that serves this purpose. In the following, you will see our strategy proposal that will make Easyjet future-proof. It will help the company to exploit efficiencies as well as market opportunities. So, let's fasten seatbelts and get ready for takeoff. Before we deep dive into the presentation, let me say a few words about the setup. This presentation is split into two parts. First, you will see an extensive analysis where we present to you the tools that we have used to collect all the data that is necessary for our strategy proposal. In the second part of the presentation, you will see our strategy proposal for Easyjet. Okay, now let's move on to the first external analysis. The PESTLE analysis shows those influence factors that can have a huge impact on the company and on the market. Well, this impact can be positive or negative. For example, the increase of non-European visitors coming to Europe can be positive from an aviation point of view, since it is additional business. And if the company knows how to capitalize on it, well, it can have a positive impact on its revenues. The fuel cost increase, however, was not that positive. This is a very negative one because fuel costs make up a huge proportion of the overall costs of an aviation company. This calls for efficiency. And as you will later see, efficiency is one of the most important parts of our strategy proposal. Now let's move on to an internal point of view. The BCG matrix helps us to learn more about Easyjet's portfolio. And when we talk about portfolio, what we mean is Easyjet's flight routes. So at the moment, Easyjet is very strong in the UK, and that does not surprise us because it is a UK-based company, and therefore the UK market is its home base. However, the company is also very weak when it comes to German, Swiss, or even Spanish routes. So there might be an opportunity for the company that so far hasn't been seen and has not been sufficiently exploited. And this can be something that the strategy can build on.
In order to analyze which resources or capabilities provide a sustainable competitive advantage to Easyjet, we apply the resource-based view. In this view, we identify which resources are valuable, rare, difficult to imitate, and is Easyjet organized to capture value. For starters, we see that there's a conflict between shareholders. This is definitely a competitive disadvantage because it can lead to delays and disruptions of business. The second batch of resources identified are valuable to Easyjet and offer a competitive parity. The third batch of resources is already valuable, rare, and difficult to imitate, hence they'll provide a temporary competitive advantage. And the fourth and most important batch are the resources that offer a sustainable competitive advantage. Easyjet is awarded for their innovation, it's efficiently managed, and they are a member of a large frequent flyer program. The combined output of the analysis on the previous slides is gathered in the SWOT analysis. Based on their properties being either internal or external, and positive or negative, they're classified as a strength, a weakness, an opportunity, or a threat. To name some of these strengths, Easyjet is an innovative organization that is efficiently managed, they have a high market share, and Easyjet is a strong brand. Going forward, they should be able to capitalize on these strengths. Next to these strengths, we identified a couple of weaknesses. As said on the previous slide, there's a conflict between the management bodies and the founder, and the earnings remain under seasonal influence. The cash flows in the summer months are far better than they are during winter months. Some of the opportunities are to get a share of the large amount of Asian travelers and further expand the footprint in Europe. And to conclude with the threats, Easyjet should look out for the ever-increasing fuel costs and the labor unrest in the aviation industry. From the SWOT analysis, We've derived 4 strategies: an immediate one, a short-term strategy, a medium-term, and a long-term strategy. These strategies will be elaborated upon in the coming slides. For starters, there's the immediate strategy. The founding member of Easyjet, who still owns 37% of all shares, suggests to remove Sir Michael Rake from his chairman position. We suggest to ignore the founding member's recommendation and follow the external advisors, which all recommend to keep Rake on board, mainly due to the fact that the results of Easyjet under his chair have been constantly increasing, even in tough economical times. So keep the winning recipe, avoid unnecessary conflict, and generate growth. Secondly, there's a quarrel about the executive pay package increase. The founding member is not aligned with increasing the pay package for the executives. We suggest to pay the executive what was agreed and explore new metrics that better align with the company strategy and incentivize growth. Generate high margin sales to compensate for these extra costs. And third, as always, in order to keep driving efficiency, we should refuse the founding member's proposal of dividend increase, and we should source the required aircrafts to guarantee the capacity growth of 3 to 5% per annum, on contrary of what the founding member is advising. As always, pay attention to shareholders' activism, but don't comply with the founding member's demands.
For the short-term strategy, we recommend to stay focused on Europe and plan to do this, as we identified with the BCG, by expanding presence in Switzerland and Germany and taking over additional routes to Spain, whilst focusing on Britain as it will be decisive for Easyjet to safeguard its cash cow market. We can drive efficiency by reducing the number of personnel via staggered departures and a reduction of simultaneous boardings. We also recommend to use subcontractors for the ground operation teams. With these actions, Easyjet will increase its EU market share whilst maximizing financial results. We also recommend to launch a business offer. To convince business travelers to switch, we plan to launch an exclusive business flyer app with in-app booking and check-in possibilities. To create a new Easy Business class with 2 ticket types that will offer priority boarding, free journals, and the possibility to take an additional briefcase on board. We will also reschedule flights to main European cities at convenient business time schedules. To drive efficiency here, we plan to reduce personnel at airport check-ins thanks to the business flyer application functions. We also plan to set up a loyal customer program to gain valuable in-flight insights and constantly improve the business offering of the company. Putting in place these elements will expand Easyjet's customer portfolio and generate a high margin activity that should compensate the increasing airport and fuel charging it is facing. For the medium-term strategy, we think Easyjet should capitalize on Asia's booming economy, as identified in the Pastel, and partner with Scoot, a low-cost long-haul airline. This alliance will create mutual benefits and will provide Easyjet passengers with connection possibilities to destinations outside Europe. To become the favorite European airline for Chinese customers, Easyjet should incentivize them to try the services with easy access to connecting flights and discounted tickets. We can here drive efficiency, as the additional customers gained will increase the aircraft factor load, thus improving revenues per seat and kilometer traveled. This partnership will also help to gain knowledge from the Asian market. All in all, it will raise Easyjet's brand awareness in China. To maximize operational performance, we think that an investment in digital data analytics is also necessary. To gain rapid access, Easyjet should therefore invest in a startup that could drive and revolutionize the industry standards. By leveraging the information gained via analytics, Easyjet can improve ancillary revenues, analyze route profitabilities, and improve asset management as well as asset availability. Digital analytics can reduce operational costs and help to analyze and control the crew and ground handling personnel. It will also help improve overall customer experience and satisfaction, thus generating higher brand fidelity. Combining these factors, Easyjet will be able to analyze its network strategy and to adjust pricing strategies to improve overall results. This will develop agility and flexibility whilst guaranteeing reliability. For the long-term strategy and with the knowledge gained from the Scoot partnership, Easyjet should launch direct operations in Asian countries such as China and Singapore. It can also export its expertise to China. It must continue to explore, monitor and plan expansion scenarios to other continents. With the implementation of best practices, it should beat other local companies and gain a leading position whilst benefiting from high margins. With the market expansion, operational costs and investments will be shared, and the increase in size of fleet will result in higher bargaining power. All in all, this should reduce Easyjet's dependence towards the European market. Easyjet should also focus on innovation. For this, it should establish an innovation mindset at all levels. It should adopt new efficient technologies and environmental technologies such as biofuels. It should offer additional services in bundles with flight reservations such as hotels and car rentals. With this strategy, costs will be reduced via new efficient technologies and reduction of fuel consumption. Increased sales revenue will also be generated and additional customer information will be gained. Here, innovation is a cost killer and an experience deliverer. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention during our route analysis and strategy planning. Please find here attached a roadmap to our next destination, namely the leading position in the low-cost carrier sector. We wish you an enjoyable flight.